Madam Speaker, I invite you and everyone within the sound of my voice tonight, all Americans, to reach into your pocket, take out a dollar bill, turn it around. On the back, you will see the Great Seal of the United States. Our founding fathers had very few ways to communicate with us. They lived before the time of television. They lived before the time of radio. They lived before the time of photography. So they communicate to us through the Constitution. They communicate to us through the Declaration of Independence, the Federalist Papers, letters that they wrote, and only one image. And that image is this image, the image on our dollar bill, the image of the Great Seal of the United States. I invite you to take a close look at it. I have one right here. The one in my pocket is in black and white, or green and white, if you will. The one here is in color. Take a look at it and you'll see the American eagle, and you'll see that the American eagle is holding arrows on the right in its claw and an olive branch on the left. This had deep symbolism to our founding fathers. This seal was adopted before the Constitution itself was ratified. And the gentleman who had to explain and support the adoption of this symbol as our country's Great Seal said that he had the eagle holding arrows and an olive branch to symbolize war and peace. And specifically what he said was that with regard to that olive branch, he wanted to illustrate the power of peace. He said the power of peace, not a phrase we hear very often. We hear a great deal of the power of war, but we don't hear much about the power of peace. And you will note that that eagle is not looking toward the arrows. That eagle is looking toward the olive branch. And the reason why the American eagle was placed by our founding fathers with an eye on that olive branch is because they always wanted America to be looking for peace. And I'm sad to say that we've forgotten that. This message from our founding fathers from over 200 years ago, but it's still here in our pocket today and on our dollar bill to remind us that the founding fathers wanted us to be looking not for war, but for peace. And what is that power that peace has? That power that peace has is the power to educate your children, the power to maintain your own health and health of other citizens, the power to build roads and hospitals and bridges. And the power of war is the power to destroy all of that. And that's why our founding fathers warned us against foreign entanglements, and why our founding fathers reminded us in the Great Seal to be looking all the time to peace and not to war. The things that we do now for the past 8 years are things that are unprecedented anywhere else in the world. The English stopped occupying other countries in the 50s, half a century ago. The French stopped doing it in the 60s. The Portuguese stopped doing it in the 70s. The Soviet Union stopped doing it in the 90s. Too late to save the Soviet Union. And to a large degree, the destruction of the Soviet Union came from a disrespect for the power of peace and a worship of the power of war. Let's hope that we recognize that mistake, and let's hope that we don't repeat it in Iraq, in Afghanistan, wherever the next war might be. In Washington, D.C., you hear much discussion of leadership. Everyone wants to claim that mantle. I'm a leader, he's a leader, she's a leader. Everybody claims to be a leader. Well, there's a kind of leadership that we need right now very badly, and that's the leadership that looks just a little bit ahead into the future, recognizes what's inevitable, and tries to make it come sooner. I have no doubt in my mind that one day the war in Afghanistan will be over. I have no doubt in my mind that one day the war in Iraq will be over. The question is when. We are the strongest country on earth, the strongest country that the earth has ever seen. We end a war when we decide to end a war, and I submit to you that that time has come. There is no force on earth that will make us end a war. We have to do it now. We have to fight for the power of peace. Thank you.
Ms. Fox, North Carolina.